Hello and welcome to Strategy and Soul. This is the podcast for ambitious female entrepreneurs that want to talk more about blending spirituality with strategy for business growth. I'm your host, Danikah Rose Creative, and I'm so excited to bring to you guests weekly from all over the world, as well as solo episodes and snack pod episodes to feed your soul in less than 10 minutes. Welcome. I am so over the moon excited about how everything has transpired to bring you Strategy and Soul, the podcast. So I know that this has been in my heart of hearts to do pretty much since I was a kid. And I wanted to give a bit of an introduction first about what I actually do professionally. What am I doing with my entrepreneurship at the moment as a female business owner, a wife, a mum, and all the things in between. So I try to keep it succinct. But the bottom line is I am multi-passionate. I serve women in business all over the world with so much passion and vigor for empowering them to be the next best version of themselves. So what we are creating, what our business is creating, and how we can get to the truest core for both of those to have a really strong advantage. And what that looks like on a practical level is me coaching women on tuning into their intuition, being more authentic in their marketing, and really owning the essence of who they are as a woman and balancing out their feminine flow and creativity and how they interact with the world and respond to the things that are happening around them, and balance that out with the structure and the logic, the planning, and the foundational work, the stuff that actually goes into the nitty-gritties, into the hard work. And I say that with quotation marks because it's about your mindset as well and what your perceptions are. So what do you perceive hard work to be as? There's going to be a lot of topics that are covered in this podcast. And I think why I have been so passionate about sharing myself and sharing my soul and my mission in this way is because a really important part of my life has been my psychic development, and being able to blend that into the businesses that I'm creating and what I'm doing in my professional life. My husband and I are also working on other projects as well that are in property around Australia, in particular with Airbnbs. So there's a lot of exciting things that go into being a female entrepreneur. Not only that, but I do have 4 children, and I'm an extremely creative woman. And I say that with such pronunciation. It's so important for me to be creating things on a very, very regular basis. So I like to blend that in with a bit of graphic creation that I am doing. Podcasting is important to me because it's about using my voice, and the tone in which you are receiving this message has been pretty much off the back of about 16 years worth of personal and professional development. So about 7 years in marketing, 15 years in business management. And in all of that time, I've owned my own businesses for 10 years. So it's been a bit of a journey. I am also very aware that some of the topics that are covered in my podcast can come across a little bit spicy. There are a few episodes that you'll notice as well that do have an explicit E. So we tend to drop a couple of F-bombs a few times. And again, it just leans back into my authenticity. What you see here and what you're hearing here on this podcast, whether you're watching it on YouTube, there are videos available of all of the episodes as well. And speaking into the mic and directly into the camera, I really hold this part of myself as very sacred. So it's taken a long time to come around to being able to share it in such a transparent and really in your face way. And because of those integrity and that authenticity that I want to share, most of the episodes have also not been edited. And I think it's really important to highlight how human we are. And in the world of social media and the world of marketing and how everything is so constructed all the time, we really have to get back to the core of what it is to be living a human experience and how we are embodying what we're learning and walking through life with the wisdom that we've gained. So we do cover many, many topics, and the guest episodes in particular, they are a little bit longer. My solo episodes, I will be keeping to a bit of a shorter time frame because I'm very well aware that we need to be habit stacking and doing our best not to cram things into our lives. But at times we go through phases where we're actually extremely busy. So sometimes the amount of content that we consume needs to be less. And this podcast, in its essence, is about purity, and it's about transparency, honesty, and it's about evolution and expansion from a soul perspective. So we touch on things like manifesting an abundance mindset, goal setting, accountability, setting intentions, the actual strategy behind some businesses as well. And there are a few episodes that will be touching on some more spiritual topics and stuff that is soul-led for women in business. And it's going to be really, really cool to share all of that because it's been a couple of months now that I've been batch creating a lot of the content that's being scheduled to go out. And it's all been extremely intentional, very intentional, to the point that this is probably one of the bigger projects that I'm really proud to say that I actually freaking nailed it. And I'm just keen. I would love to hear reviews. I'm very open about asking as well for my needs to be met and for what I love to see within my community and in my business. So you'll see links in my show notes to everyone's offers. We definitely talk about those in the guest episodes as well. It's been really important to me to actually showcase what other women are doing in their businesses and what their products and services are, because it's not often that you can be involved in a community that is an actually abundant mindset, in a community that actually wants to see other women rise and support and to hold and to feel and to express and to just be together. So for me, that's really what this has been about. It's about being with my community at a more intense level where I'm able to share things with less filters and not have to do it in a time frame that is constructed to a social media strategy or a plan that's based around my offers. And while I definitely believe that the episodes have been constructed in a time frame that energetically aligns with what I'm able to present to you, there's so much heart in the timing as well for the guests. And I would really love to just honor and admire and appreciate and send out that gratitude again to everyone that has been able to contribute to this podcast. And to that as well, I have a VA that has been working on some of the graphics and the technicalities that you'll see as well as part of this podcast. So I'm deeply grateful for anybody that's helped in this process, because it really is such a dream. And I'm not going to hide the fact I really feel like my inner teenager has had that satisfaction, and I am the girl that did her high school work experience at a radio station. So if that's saying anything about reading the weather report at 7:00 in the morning and how much that lit me up, I feel I've just really created and I've recreated that in my current reality. And I'm just so happy to have everyone here for this experience and this journey and this learning, the amount of learning that can happen about how other women are using their day-to-day lives, their self-care, their planning, their structure, what that looks like to take criticism. What else? We've talked about parenting and business owning. I've spoken to new business owners. I've spoken to owners that have had their businesses for 20 plus years. So it's very wide in the amount of knowledge that's being offered up here. And if there's anything that you would like me to target and to talk about and discuss in solo episodes, the solo episodes are really going to be off the cuff. And the solo episodes are something that I have decided that I wasn't batch creating in a really large format. So the other thing, and probably the last thing that I really want to finish up with, is that when I'm creating snack pod episodes that are 8 to 10 minutes long, I just do that with so much soul, because I really understand how important and crucial it is at times to really center ourselves and to hold ourselves accountable to this version, the best version, the highest version, the person that we want to see running our business, and how just those little snippets out of our day can really turn things around in such a short amount of time, when all we do is focus on just putting one foot in front of the other and consuming content that lifts us up and makes us feel good. And that is my purest intention with this podcast. And if I could just express myself right now, I'd be jumping up and down in my seat. But I know sometimes it could be a bit loud. So I'm going to leave it at that while I'm buzzing inside. And I will go forth with all of my faith and hope and joy that you're going to experience and really love and fall in love with this community that we're creating here with Strategy and Soul. And I'm going to sign off. This is Danikah Rose Creative. If you need to find me, I love to play on Instagram. That's one of my favorite places. Otherwise, you'll see me on Facebook and YouTube as well. So check me out. Send out the podcast to your friends. Of course, this is the welcome episode, but there's also a couple of episodes underneath this already when I'm launching it, so that you get a really nice, picture, a good idea about what the rest of the podcast is going to look like. And of course, it's going to change over time, but I'm here for all of it. So let's see what happens on Strategy and Soul. And yeah, we'll catch up soon.